In today's practice, we will be focusing on first becoming aware of our feelings, naming the feeling, understanding more how our feeling feels in our body, and then what to do about it. So let's start by closing our eyes if you feel comfortable. Make sure you're sitting in a comfortable position. Now gently bringing your attention to your breath. Maybe it helps to keep a hand on your belly and noticing when you breathe in, your belly rises, and when you breathe out, your belly goes down and your hand goes down. Breathing in. Sometimes it may help to have a count. When you breathe in at the count of 1, 2, 3, 4, it gives you a nice big inhale. And if you want to hold it for a count of 1, 2, 3, 4, and then exhale at the count of 1, 2, 3, 4. Breathing in. Filling your air into the lungs, expanding them like balloons. Breathing out. And letting go of that air. As we are settling into the breathing and slowly coming to stillness and quietness, gently now bring your kind and curious attention to the feeling you are having right now. It may be a feeling of happiness, sadness, anger, feeling frustrated or excited. Whatever it is, just name one of the feelings you're experiencing at this moment. Often people think about boredom as a feeling, but we know that feeling bored is the way we express it, but feeling bored is actually a thought. And not a feeling. When we think about feelings, we think about the primary emotions: happy, sad, fear, joy, surprise, and disgust. Now, these are 7 primary emotions that have been universally identified in every human being. But of course, these primary emotions often lead to secondary emotions or feelings, such as anger, frustration, embarrassment, feeling envious or jealous, and and there's many more. So if you're able to identify the feeling you're having currently, just name it. It may be one of those primary or secondary emotions that I just described. Continuing to breathe and rest in your stillness, and just acknowledging the feeling that you might be experiencing right now, naming it. And now that we've named the feeling, let's try to find out, where is it sitting in my body today? Some feelings might sit in our chest and we feel that tightness in our chest sometimes. Some feelings like fear and panic feel in our heart and we feel our hearts beating fast. Some feelings sit in our tummy and we feel not so comfortable, maybe feel a little bit queasy or uncomfortable in our tummy. Sometimes our feelings might just be any big joints. And so let's just continue to notice where our feeling is sitting in our body right now. And notice it. Notice the sensation this feeling is bringing in our body. Noticing and acknowledging it.
Okay.
Now that we have named the feeling, noticed where it's sitting in our body, let's take a step further to see what color does this feeling have. Some feelings like anger seem red. Some feelings like happiness have the color of orange or any bright color for that matter. Other feelings might look of different colors. Sadness could look yellow. So whatever your current feeling is, think about a color. If it's showing any color that you're able to appreciate, it doesn't have to be. We also say things like green with envy, gray or blue when we feel sad or down. So just notice the color of your feeling right now and acknowledge it. Now move forward and take a step further to see if there is any sound to your feeling. Feelings like joy may have a subtle sound of some jiggling, happy sound that sometimes you can appreciate. And some sad feelings may have a really faint sound. We are just being creative and imagining and trying to see if there is a sound to your feeling. Definitely when we feel angry, we feel the bubbling sound of the boiling feeling or sensation that the feeling of anger brings. Similarly, when you're frustrated, you may have a less intense feeling of that bubbling sensation, but maybe that's what it feels like. That's the sound it's reminding you of. Now that we have named the feeling, notice where it's sitting in our body. Notice its color and sound. Now take a moment to see, what is this feeling asking you to do? What does it want from me? A lot of the times, feeling wants you to befriend it, meaning just accept it, stay with it, give it time and space, and it will pass. On the other hand, some other feelings want you to express it. So find what that is going to be for you, whether it's expression through writing, talking, sharing, going for a walk or run, playing your music instrument or listening to music. Whatever that might be, expression of feelings can happen through different outlets for different people. And you can choose what that might be for you. Now let's come to the specific feeling of anger. Even if that's not what you're experiencing at this current moment, maybe you are. Let's try to understand what this particular feeling wants from us. Like I mentioned before, anger is a secondary emotion. So beneath anger, usually there is other primary feelings underneath. So what we say is anger is just a tip of the iceberg, and the iceberg immersed under the tip is a completely different set of emotions. Often there is sadness, there is fear, there is anxiety driving your anger. So identify what's going on underneath, what's driving the anger. Maybe you're sad about being trapped in the house and angry about this whole situation. Maybe you're frustrated to not have all the things you had planned for pan out. Maybe you're fearful about how long this is going to be and the uncertainty this has brought in our lives. All these primary emotions lead to the secondary emotion of anger. But one way to manage that anger is to work with these primary emotions. So when you are practicing mindfulness, where taking your time to be with yourself, going inwards, and paying attention to the thoughts and primary emotions given the current situation, you may actually understand there is ways to address the primary issues, the primary emotions, and you can curb the reaction of anger if you deal with those primary feelings. Mindfulness helps you to bring that awareness to catch those primary emotions, find a way to express or deal with them before we go to the secondary emotion of anger and react. Think about this as like a thermometer which has 0 to 100 range. And anger is usually an emotion that comes above 50 or 60 in that 0 to 100 range. When we don't track our primary feelings of fear, sadness, or anxiety, we often miss that window of catching those feelings in that 0 to 50 range. And then boom, we are at 70 or 80, angry and frustrated about what's going on. And we bring it out by reacting, by saying things we don't intend to, by doing things that we regret later on. So when we practice mindfulness, we start to build our awareness around tracing our primary feelings as they are trickling in. So you are actually catching your feelings in that 0 to 50 range. And it's important to validate those feelings. Yes, given the situation, we are all sad, we are frustrated, we are fearful of the unknown. So acknowledging, validating those feelings, sharing it with others, getting strength from each other about we are together in this and this shall pass too, can be one way to deal with those primary feelings before we get to this secondary level of anger or frustration and act out. Another way to think about this is a traffic light model. So green is when we are in a peaceful state, when everything is going fine. The primary emotions of happiness and joy are flowing. Yellow light is where now we are starting to have situations that create thoughts and feelings that are uncomfortable. So just like when we drive, we become aware and we are very alert when the yellow light comes, and we stop and take a pause, and that helps us to jump the red light or get into an accident. It's the same thing. If we stay in awareness of our thoughts and feelings and notice the feelings building up and catch it before that yellow light becomes a red light and find ways to deal with those feelings, we can avoid going to the red light. Another interesting way to think about this. So, resting in your quietness and stillness for a couple more breaths. Taking a note of the feeling you are having and finding a solution of how you're going to handle that feeling today. Either become friend of that feeling and let it sit and give it time and space, and it will go away, or find a way to express it. In a moment, I'm going to ring the tone bar, and when you hear the sound fading away, bring yourself back into the room you are in and open your eyes if you close them.